We start with breaking news and a live look at Arapahoe County where voters are waiting in long lines, as you can see, to cast their ballots. This is outside Centerpoint Plaza in Aurora. And we want to show you a photo from inside taken about an hour ago. Our reporter on location says hundreds of people are waiting in line. And take a look at this My Report photo from Demetria Burgess. This was earlier this morning outside Marcheck Middle School. Despite this line, Burgess says she was able to get in and out to vote pretty quickly. So that's encouraging news. 7 News reporter Tyler Lopez is getting answers for us right now. And Tyler, you just spoke to the county clerk about the lines.
I did, Bertha. She says it's a combination of volume and people changing their minds once they get in line. And this line has been extensive at times, but take a live look now. This actually represents a dramatic improvement from what we've seen. As of 10 o'clock this morning, it was taking an hour for people to get inside this building. We're at Sable and Alameda. Take a look at some of the video we just sent in within the hour. Once you got inside, boy, it wasn't over. This line was very extensive, too. Some people there with children. Several people had said it was a 2-hour process. Here now is one of those voters, along with Arapahoe County Clerk Nancy Doty, with her take on what was happening.
2.5 hours?
Yes.
Any reason for that? Did anyone give you any reason for that kind of a delay?
No.
What are your thoughts right now?
I just think it's a long line, long process, and I guess I don't know how they could make it shorter.
I think the line problem or the issue is people checking in to vote. It's not the voting machines.
And as he was saying, the problem is people would show up with a mail-in ballot, get in line and say, I want to vote with a machine. Well, to do that, they have to do it by way of a provisional ballot, and that takes a lot longer to accomplish. What we can tell you in terms of good news, though, is this line is maybe a dozen people. It was at least 150 earlier, so that is a dramatic improvement. She had said she thought this line would dissipate within an hour, perhaps 2 hours. So far, that looks like that's proving true. We do know that some people left, didn't want to stand in line, and went to other locations. You can do that now. This is the first time Arapahoe County's got voting centers. There are 32 of them. Just go to our website, thedenverchannel.com, type in your address. There are many locations to choose from. I just talked with Nancy Doty not even 10 minutes ago. She told me Aurora Hills Middle School, Cherokee Trail High School, they're wide open. There's no one there. But even the line here is starting to dissipate. Hopefully that'll be the norm for the rest of the day. Live in Aurora, Tyler Lopez, 7 News.
All right, Tyler, we appreciate your keeping an eye on it for us. Thanks. Now, our team coverage continues with 7 News reporter Eric Lufer. And Eric, the county has a site that's supposed to help voters.
That's right, Bertha, and I'm on the site right now. It's arapahoevotes.com, and we've got this linked to our website, thedenverchannel.com. So definitely check that out. Here's where you want to click on the main page, 2012 Vote Centers. Once you click on this big icon, this is going to come up, and there's actually a link to all the wait times for all of the polling stations in Arapahoe County. And this really does prove to be very resourceful. We've been getting a lot of phone calls from people who have been waiting in lines. We've also gotten plenty of pictures. You saw those at the top of the hour. These are updated by the hour according to this website. An example, Arapahoe County Centerpoint Plaza, 2-hour wait, at least it's being reported on this website. And then like Tyler was talking about, Aurora Hills Middle School, it's being posted as no wait. But I did notice a few things on this site that are worth a mention, like Cherokee Trail High School. Never mind, Cherry Hills Village Elementary School we should look at. It says time to be added, so there's really no telling how long the wait is there. And of course, we've got crews all over Arapahoe County looking at the lines for themselves. And we've been noticing that sometimes we're reporting lines longer than what's being said here or shorter. So you can't really count on these too much. It might not be 100% accurate, but at least it's a good tool for you. And of course, if you don't live in Arapahoe County, this is a perfect example to go to your county's website and utilize these tools, because perhaps it could help your voting experience once you head out the door. Bertha.
Take a snack, a bottle of water, and something to read. That's what I always do. Thanks, Eric. This morning, we're getting a lot of calls from voters with questions about their ballots and what to bring to their polling places. If you didn't mail your ballot, bear in mind it's too late to mail it right now. What you can do, however, is bring it to a polling place. The polls close at 7 p.m., but rest assured, as long as you're in line at that time, you'll get to vote. Bring a form of ID. Now, your driver's license is a good form. Even a recent utility bill would work. We have a list of what they consider acceptable ID, as well as polling places and drop-off locations at thedenverchannel.com. Click on the Go Vote headline, which you'll find at the top of the page. And as we are already seeing, depending on where you vote, you could encounter some long lines. Continuing our Democracy 2012 coverage, right now, Republican Governor Mitt Romney is in a final push to get votes. He is in Cleveland, Ohio. President Barack Obama is back in Illinois to await the results right now. He made a surprise visit to a campaign office near his home in Chicago within the last couple of hours, and while there, he made calls to campaign volunteers in Wisconsin. This could be one of the closest presidential elections in United States history. And 7 News reporter Mark Stewart just spoke with one-on-one with President Obama within the last 30 minutes. Mark, you also talked with a leader from the Romney campaign. Fill us in.
Many issues to discuss, Bertha. We started our conversation, though, about bipartisan cooperation, something that both candidates emphasized in their final stops over the weekend here in Colorado. I want to start right away. I want to talk about your final visit to Colorado. You told your supporters late at night that you will be a champion of promoting bipartisan cooperation. Yet, under your watch, Congress has not passed a budget, a defense authorization bill. As you look back, what is a weakness that can be improved upon? Where do you think, as a leader, you have been weak in this area?
Well, look, I think there's no doubt that we've had some tough fights in the last 4 years, but in a lot of cases, they were fights that were worth having. You know, making sure that Americans don't go bankrupt when they get sick, and that insurance companies can't charge women differently than men when it comes to health insurance. That's a fight worth having. Making sure that we are, reforming Wall Street so we don't have more taxpayer-funded bailouts.
Isn't there a burden, though, on you to be a negotiator? Because without things such as a budget or a defense appropriation bill, how do you have a roadmap to move forward?
Well, Mark, the truth is that on every single issue that we've talked about, I have and will continue to reach out to the Republicans, because I'm less interested in who gets credit for ideas or whether they're Republican or Democrat. I just want to get things done.
The gridlock in Washington has escalated to these unprecedented levels. So if the governor is intent in creating this bipartisan atmosphere, is it through conversation? Is there something that he is willing to give up in order to promote this kind of cooperation that he's preaching?
Well, I think that, that's a great question. And I think that the American people are just tired of Washington being broken. And the American people are the ones that are telling their elected officials that we want you guys to work together. We want some results. We don't want this partisan gridlock that we've seen for too many years now. And so when Governor Romney talks about his bipartisan record, people listen.
So with polls closing in just hours in the end, really both campaigns reverting back to their Election Day speeches, we also talked about the Colorado marijuana amendment and global warming. More on that throughout the day here on 7 News and the DenverChannel.com. For now, live in the newsroom, Mark Stewart, 7 News. Bertha, back to you.
Thanks, Mark. Before you go, we want to emphasize that we did ask for the opportunity to speak with Governor Romney himself.
Absolutely, Bertha. Right away, we made the Romney campaign aware of our interview with the president. Logistically, being Election Day, it just was impossible, and that is why they provided a spokeswoman for us.
All right, thanks, Mark. Republican challenger Governor Mitt Romney reminded his supporters every vote counts. He and his wife, Ann, cast their ballots this morning in Belmont, Massachusetts, before leaving for campaign events in Pennsylvania and the crucial swing state of Ohio. President Obama, as you may know, voted earlier. Election history is made in a tiny New Hampshire village overnight.
For president, this has never happened before in Dixville. We have a tie, 5 votes each.
Wow, Dixville Notch surprises everybody. It prides itself in being first in the nation to vote. At midnight, the 10 registered voters cast their ballots. 5 of them are unaffiliated, with 3 registered Republicans and 2 registered Democrats. So that means Barack Obama received 1 more vote from the unaffiliated voters than Mitt Romney. Another small New Hampshire town, Hart's Location, also voted at midnight. The result there, Obama 23, Romney 9. One of the big issues on this year's Colorado ballot is whether to legalize marijuana. Amendment 64 would make it legal for people over age 21 to use marijuana recreationally. The same kind of measure is also on the ballot in Washington state and Oregon. Meantime, in Arkansas and Massachusetts, voters will be deciding whether to allow marijuana use for medical reasons. Arkansas would be the first southern state to do so. Returning back here to Longmont, Colorado, voters are deciding whether to ban fracking. Ballot question 300, as it's called, bans this process of getting oil or natural gas within the city's limits. The state is suing Longmont for trying to ban fracking in residential neighborhoods. California voters are considering a measure to get rid of the state's death penalty. If it is passed, more than 700 death row inmates would have their sentences commuted to life in prison. Part of President Obama's health care law is up for a vote in Alabama, Florida, Montana, and Wyoming. Voters in those states will consider measures to prevent people and businesses from having to participate in the system. But the initiatives are largely symbolic since the proposals violate federal law. We hope you'll log on to thedenverchannel.com for up-to-date developments on today's election. We will provide extended coverage of the election starting at 4, and you can watch on Comcast Channel 24/7 from 7 p.m. to 10, and also through our 7 News iPhone, Android, or iPad apps.